is a horrifying but contradictory manifestation. Ex-acting Chief Market Inspector, Mr. Flung Took. Skint at the price of a newspaper, reading from the rubbish bin, but with a pint of splosh in his hand and a snagger in his chops. Who's been standing treat?
What you wearing sneakers for, Mr. Bush? Spent the night cat burglary.
It's summer, Tookie, didn't you know? It's been summer ever since you got yourself kicked out of the lane in the middle of last winter. The moment you vanished, there was a sudden cessation of blizzard, followed by a protracted heat wave. What do you come prowling back for, spoiling it all? Have heart, Tookie. You stand round here another 5 minutes, this fine early morning sky will go all overcast and start pelting. How you been, Danny? Setting up nice and early, aren't you? Good. You'll have 5 minutes to spare for me round 8 o'clock then.
How you been, Billy? 5 minutes what for?
For 5 bob, which is a bob a minute. Now, only a sprint up the garden to pay a produce merchant, the sight of whom I can't tolerate.
Hey?
On account of he's threatening legal action if I don't cough up before he shuts down. Take your trolley, will you, won't you? There'll be a few chips to wheel back. Nothing heavy. Grapes.
Right, Billy.
Right for what?
Oh, we just finalised this massive deal, Paul. Don't agonise your bonce about it. You ruined all the good they did you in hospital.
Let your boy do it, Mrs. Jessel. That should be a credit to Bob a minute. A very good cop.
Hey? Good. The vampire of Honey Lane, still up after dark. You should be back in your crypt, Mr. Took, cleaning your fangs.
Yeah, the cock crew and the sun come up 10 minutes ago. You'll wither away if you don't look slippy.
Yeah. Danny'll have to look slippy getting the garden back for you in 20 minutes. I couldn't do it in 5.
Well, you offered him 5 flipping bob.
Well, Tookie's got his ex-copper's boots on. Of course he couldn't do it. I'll lend you my running shoes, Danny.
Well, what do you think, Mum? 76?
Oh, don't do yourself, Danny. If you want to be done, leave it to Mr. Bush.
What are you trying to set our bears, Mr. Took? Advisory Bureau to the lane? Danny's old enough to make his own decisions now. You nut it out for yourself, Sam.
Yes.
And I don't need your approval for my motherly decisions.
I was saying yes, Mother Jessel, to what you asked. Yes, I am setting up an advisory bureau.
You're right about him being a vampire. The unaccustomed son's cooked his faculties. Look at him, he's raving.
Spread the word for me, will you, Mrs. Jessel? As a former police sergeant and also...
Police constable. Mysteriously demobbed for grafts too devious to specify.
And also as a former chief market inspector.
Acting CMI, similarly flung.
As those, I have special qualifications for solving the special problems you stallholders run into. I carry all the relevant regulations in my head, along with all relevant interpretations, as well as an unqualified knowledge of how every beak on the bench looks at things, which, if you don't know, is the real killer. Now
Take consuming off the premises outside our pub with a special licence, which depends for its annual renewal on nobody taking such liberties.
The pub shall also be my office, Mr. Bush. Spread that too. Consultancy charge on the appointment level. 1 pint of splosh.
Bent. So bent you can't see his face for his boots. We've all of us felt them boots, Tookie. You stood over us in them. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 13 months of the year. Cooking charges, taking grafts, putting the hobnails into we bled. Who do you think's going to listen to you now? Which innocent, trusting little soul, all eager to put his trembling hands into your clobbering great paws? Straight up, it's not in you, Tookie. You couldn't give your own mother a loving pat on the head without collapsing from concussion.
All of you will come to me, Mr. Bush, one way or another. Because all of you are villains. Every repulsive one of you. It takes a man of my experience to get you out of what you get yourselves in.
enough. Ain't worth the time making the change, right? Yeah, I'll have 3 bob. Yes? We don't stock them.
211.
You better phone the garden, mate. The green won't last the line. See what Sonny's got left. Order anything, will ya? Send Danny for it and all. He's all right now. Hey, what'll I throw Danny? Well, don't lose quid saving shillings. 3 bob, John. Where's Danny?
He's running for Harry Jolson. Here, you see him. Send him straight back here to me at the Emporium. I'm going under.
Yeah, so are we.
Yeah, none of throwing him, you usual miserable 5 bob. I'll need him here.
Yeah, promise, love, promise.
Thank you, dear.
2 and 10, John.
Yes, what can I do for you, man?
2 of those.
Oh.
How you been doing, Harry? Time to flip?
Nobody buys flowers anymore these humid Mondays. Not since the freeze.
Where have you sent Danny?
Normal deliveries to regular customers. If you want to find out what my round is, try Billy Bush. He's been spying on it for years.
I only want Danny.
Yeah, well, he comes back that way, and that way is past Sam Inglis, and Sam Inglis is waiting for him too, so if I were you, and thank the Lord I'm not, I'd ambush him further up the lane.
Oh, tar very much. Hey, how much do you pay Danny?
That is his business.
No, it's not. It's the old lane's business. I mean, he's a dog's body for everyone, isn't he? I wouldn't want to undercut, would I? And why should you overdo?
I understand that Jacko throws him 4 bob an hour, if the hour lasts 90 minutes.
That means you and Jacko are paying him less than Dave and I. What should I do, beat him down or encourage him to beat you up?
Yes? I thought you were weeding an order out of your shopping list there.
I was looking for Mr. Bush.
Well, you won't find him blooming here. He's more in the cactus line. Points all over him, as you might say.
Yes, I might. Good morning. Do you know where I can find...
Yeah, mate. What?
I have matters to discuss with him.
Personal, business, or dodgy like?
I shan't know until I've spoken to him.
Well, don't name it here. There's a listening device close beside you. What the espionage trade calls, with deadly accuracy in this case, a bug.
What pity it is you have no fruit and veg on a day like this, Mr. Bush. All your competitors are rolling in it.
I was just about to break the joyous news to the handsome stranger that I was Mr. Bush, Mr. Jolson. Well, what are you doing now the morbid mob you voted into power haven't left the taxpayer with the price of a buttonhole? Setting up an information bureau to compete with poor old Tukey's advisory bureau. You'll starve, I tell you, you'll starve. Now, don't be misled by this arid expense. Now, Mr. Jolson's morbid mob have taxed the poor bloody British out the price of a steak. All they can afford to guts is fruit and veg. I clear my lot before breakfast every morning. The nation's calamity is my fair cop.
I see.
Yeah, well, come along to my office and let's both see what you see, all right?
Yes, I should like to have a look at that.
Right, have a look at what?
Your office.
This way, then. How you been, Jacko? Sitting up late again, aren't you? Got it on the tiles?
Ain't got up heavy with Bird. Fair vitiated me vitality last night, I can tell you. So I'm in need of a helping hand. You seen Danny about?
Yeah. He's working his feet down to the ankles for our Harry, who tosses him a quid a time in public to disguise the fact that 6 and 6 a morning slog for free slogging mornings.
It comes to 19 and 6, not a pound, surely.
Yeah, that's what I said. Danny can't count, see? And in the lane, that's how you talk.
When you cop a teacher like Harry.
Yeah, you do your trade for good with these, Jacko. It's flaming June. Drop a sweat on shirts like these, they'll melt clean away. Yeah, he's a born educationalist, is our Harry. They had to whip the silver cane out of his mouth before he could breathe. Hi, Pat. How you at? Well, we're good today. I couldn't find any worth eating on.
Did you see that?
What? Mr. Bush leaving his rubbish unminded? Don't worry, Jacko. Nobody's going to bother to nick that.
No, I mean a toffee nose. He's been up and down the lane all morning making notes.
How would you know, Jacko? You have only just trundled up.
Sam English told me. And it takes a lot to attract the attention of that old turtle, doesn't it?
How much, Sam?
Huh? Oh, 2 and 9, love.
Hi, Tom. Got a place to ourselves then. What'll you have?
I never in ours.
In? What can you mean? This is a pub with a special licence, so you're all right. Anywhere else in London, it's out of ours.
It always as empty as this?
No, only when the lane's busy. We capitalists never grog when the money's flowing. You should be here when it rains.
Even so, I think we should go upstairs to your office.
Yeah, this is my office, all of it, from here to there.
I see.
What do you keep seeing, mate?
What I hoped not to, I'm afraid.
Pint of splash, Tom. And you?
Anything soft. Pineapple juice.
Bottle of prickly for the handsome stranger. Look, let's let up on a mystery, shall we? What is this thing you hope not to see? Straight up, eh? No, not from the tin, from the wood. Leave the tin for the tourists.
That you have been making possibly false tax returns.
False what?
Returns. I am an inspector from the Department of Inland Revenue. Now, I have it in my notes here that you have been claiming business expenses for renting an office. In fact, very many of the stallholders seem to have one. Is this it in every case? And Mr. Danny Jessel, is he the casual laborer you all employ?
Hey?
Mr. Danny Jessel.
Well, I never heard the boy called Mister before, but yeah, I suppose.
How much, you suppose?
Well, I put his name down on my return, didn't I? Along with the deductible expenses.
How much do you suppose he's generally paid per hour? Really?
Thanks, Tom.
Tick 'em up.
Let me tick him up. You never let me have credit before, since when have I had collateral? What do you mean, how much do I pay Danny, really?
Well, you know what you claim to have paid him.
Yeah, £500.
Which could be expressed as £10 a week.
Yeah.
For casual work.
Well, what about the sort? I've got my wife working on the store, you know, like my return says. Good days only, of course. Not like now. These are bad days.
But you clear before breakfast.
Yeah, well, I said that out of pride. It's the way we stallholders are. The worse we do, the prouder we talk.
Were you being proud when you claimed 500 for Danny Jessel on your return?
Are you trying to be funny?
No. It seems to me that you are paying him out of all proportion to some of the other stallholders. This morning I've heard them speak of paying him in shillings, not pounds.
Yeah, that's right. Shillings, so many shillings per hour.
So many being how many?
Well, 3 and 6 here, 4 bob there, depends.
From what I've heard in the lane this morning, Mr. Bush, and have calculated from various taxation returns from the stallholders in general, yours in particular, I have to tell you that young Mr. Jessel, whether at 3 and 6 an hour or at 4 shillings an hour, seems to be working 35 days a week.
Hello, Mr. Bush. Care to buy me a pint?
Don't you hear the door? If it's Danny, very well. Tell anyone else to go away.
Oh, hello. You're new. What did Dudley do to get himself flung?
I didn't replace a Dudley. I replaced a Tony, who replaced a Charlie.
Oh. Well, I haven't been here for months.
Mr. Darcy isn't in.
Well, I won't be disturbing him then, will I?
No?
Good morning, Billy. I haven't seen you for months. It's been very nice.
Danny Jesselbean?
Danny Jesselbean what?
Here, delivering your daily flowers from Harry Jolson.
Why?
Because I'm in shtuck, that's why. Here, give us a drink, will you?
Birdie. Yes, I heard. What's stuck, Billy? Tell me and I'll see if you need any medicine.
Shtuck that needs more than medicine. Shtuck that needs a dodgy lawyer and a crooked judge. I can fix her first. Can you raise her second?
Have you pleaded guilty to something, Billy? You?
I'd like to meet somebody with a bit of spirit in him in this downtrodden country who shouldn't.
What's your Billy? Hello, Mr. Darcy. Mr. Jolson says he's sorry, but with this weather, you better give these a proper soak.
Oh, go away and weep on them, Ferdy. What, Mr. Bush, are you guilty that I, if I've understood you, should be too?
You and a few million more, if the nation's not lost its soul and gone down grovelling to lick the boots of the morbid mob that's kicking it to death. Human dignity. You know what the last word is on that? To be able to foot the price of your own funeral after the state's finished eating you alive. Who's going to be able to do that the way things are going? No, don't drift off, Danny. I'll come here to see you.
Oh, what's the grief, Billy?
Now, why should it be grief?
I don't know. I don't know what you've been chanting about, but it sounds as if you're some right old poo to me.
Here.
What?
These errands you do for me, Danny, like you do for the rest of them.
Yeah?
Well, now, there's a toffee nose cruising up and down the lane, and he'll very likely want to consult with you about them. You just remember them, that's all.
Oh, I can do that easy, Billy. I mean, I do less work for you than for anybody, don't I? It must be 2 weeks since I went down to the garden for you, yeah. I went to Solly, wasn't it? I paid a bill and I brought back some grapes.
You go here and there for me regular, Danny. Hardly a day passes without my needing your casual but invaluable assistance.
Hardly a day. I never realised.
Well, you realise it proper, Danny. And realise that if it's all totted up, I toss you 500 nicker a year.
Hey? Really?
Really? Really, maybe it runs into thousands, so it's no crime to say 500.
To a tax inspector, Billy?
To a tax inspector.
So really, it'd be no crime to say the truth either.
Well, you bent. Truth would be about £18.10, provided it was a leap year. Here, give it.
Huh? What did you say, Billy? 18?
No, 18 hours, Danny. 18 hours a week on an average.
900 hours a year, dear me, over 10 shillings an hour. Bit high, don't you think?
You see what the nation's coming to, don't you? Instead of spending our time making money, we've got to sprain our brains saving it from toffee noses, who'd otherwise pour it all out on politicians going around in circles in cruisers getting nowhere.
Overtime, Billy. Basic 5 shillings, going up drastically because you can't space out the work.
Yeah.
Makes you sound like a shocking poor businessman, but don't we all have to these darkish days?
Yeah, overtime. You got that?
Overtime, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I don't mind saying anything you like, Billy. I mean, I'm not very good at figures myself.
Drink up, Danny, you're a big boy now.
Yeah.
Do you make a return, Danny?
Oh, no, never mind about that, Dad. Listen, if you're getting a tax bill on my account, you just tell me. I'll slip you the lot. Well, it couldn't be more than a handful of singles, could it?
How did you land yourself in this, Billy?
Well, it's not only me. There's hawks wheeling up and down the old lane, swooping on everyone, without warning. He's thorough, I'll say that for him. He does a solid day's work. He even asked me about Madame Hoffman. You know, that bird that reads the palm as a come-on for the other.
What's his interest in her?
Well, Harry Jolson appears to have named her as the char for the office he's never had.
So, one of you villains says something, he darts straight off to check on it.
Yeah, back and forth and then back and forth again.
Well, I'll see ya.
Danny.
What? What's that for?
For delivering flowers, as you do 6 days a week, 52 weeks a year.
Hey? Oh, Mr. Jolson pays me to do that.
And so do I, making £156 a year. The other 100 you make is for cleaning the kitchen upon occasion.
You put him down for 250 on your return.
Well, drink and be merry, gentlemen, for tomorrow, who knows, they may start taxing rainwater.
Oh, come on, Mr. Darcy. Who'd they tax for that?
God.
What tools of trade?
Well, there's this for a start, isn't there?
What would you estimate the cost of this instrument as, wholesale?
Wholesale?
Well, tools of trade are usually bought through the trade, aren't they? Not retail.
Yes, well, of course, they don't make them like this anymore, you know. That is solid brass.
Really?
Or, copper.
Some alloy, at any rate. Charming. How long have you had it?
7 years. I don't think I'd have the receipt after all this time.
So it wouldn't be included under the heading of, how did you say you put it?
Office furniture and cleaning. Yes, I thought I'd lump it together under the same heading, you see, tools as well.
Then this wouldn't be on last year's return, since you had it 7 years.
Yes, this would. Under office furniture depreciation.
Did you trade in its predecessor, and if so, what did you receive for it?
Well, there wasn't one, you see. In them days, I had such a small show, I used to dip my fingers into a tin can and flick.
I see. Then it's not allowable.
Not what?
You can only claim on tools of trade when you replace them. So we needn't concern ourselves with the cost of this instrument until you replace it. Then you might be kind enough to let me have all relevant receipts, cost of obsolete article, trade-in value, cost of new.
How much time do you think I have to waste to claim a few bob? When am I supposed to sell my flowers?
Get your secretary to do it. Now, when may I see your office?
Well, of course, Inspector, by my office, I do mean half my flat.
Everyone in Honey Lane does. I quite understand. You all have twice as much private accommodation as you need because you use half of it for office work.
Yes.
And I may see yours? When?
Well, you'd have to come round at night. I mean, I am here all day.
I wouldn't find your secretary working there, then?
No, you wouldn't, Inspector. No, sorry.
Unless, of course, I happen to call on one of the many nights you've told me you employ her overtime.
Yes, well, I'd better let you know the next time that's going to happen, hadn't I?
Yes, I think you have. Now, Mr. Denny Jessel, when he delivers your flowers to Mr. Darcy's restaurant, who pays him to do it? You or Mr. Darcy?
I do.
That is, then, when delivery is made from the Covent Garden merchants to you, young Danny Jessel is paid by you, not by the merchant.
I usually do my own collecting. I send Danny only when I'm rushed. But it's collecting, always. Not delivery. You keep muddle on that. Well, I send the lad to collect. So who else would be paying him but me?
Well, remembering that you said you only send him when you're rushed, how often do you send him?
What do you mean, Inspector? Remembering what I said? Look, do your job as much as you think you should. If it's the sort of work you like doing. Not that I think you'll find many people wanting to do work like it, but don't come the old sly dig with me.
I beg your pardon. I don't quite understand.
And I apologize. You're not sly. You just don't know what you sound like. All right. Look up your notes on my return and see if what I'm saying now isn't what I've said there. I pay Danny about £25 a year. That's what I paid him before you swam into the lane. And that's what I pay him now you've had a nibble at me. The same, because it's the truth.
Oh, I quite believe you, Mr. English. It's just that in this one case, the figure is so surprisingly low. You see, if I tot up, as I have, the sums that all the other storeholders claim to have paid Danny, and which Danny has frankly admitted he's received, it comes to...
Comes to what?
Here are the figures, Mrs. Jessel.
Well, this isn't what my Danny pulls in. You've mixed him up with the Governor of the Bank of England.
We all do tend to make more than we think these days, don't we?
This is rubbish.
Yes, well, I was rather afraid you might be upset, Mrs. Jessel, which is why I decided to speak to you first.
First?
Before going into it with Danny.
Well, you told me you'd already nobbled him.
Merely to confirm the claims the other stall holders had made.
What other stall holders?
Mr. Bush, Mr. English, Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr...
Have you been at the old lane?
I'm afraid it became necessary, Mrs. Jessel. I'm acting on information received.
You sound like a bloody copper. Or some spy from some secret service. What are we having next? The flamethrowers? And then what? Gas chambers? Here, give me that. This is what the villain said?
Villains?
My dreary, leery, beery chums. £500? Who said that? Why, Danny's never known 500 bob in his life, let alone 500 quid.
Mr. Bush said it, Mrs. Jessel, and Danny confirmed it.
250? From who?
Mr. Darcy. Danny told me himself. Well, I've not confirmed that with Mr. Darcy yet, which is why I put a query beside it.
You put a bloody big query beside it. Why, Danny gets his cop there from Mr. Jolson. So what did Slippery Seymour be paying him out of, charity?
That will be looked into. I take it then from what you said, Mrs. Jessel, that Mr. Jolson's estimate of £372 would be correct.
I'm going to do you. I'm going to commit an atrocity.
Yes, I quite understand, Mrs. Jessel.
What?
Well, it's perfectly clear to me that your son has been taken advantage of.
Yes, he certainly has. Well, now it's sounding as if with a mighty effort you might become a human being, Inspector.
Well, the difficulty is, you see, Mrs. Jessel, I don't expect that these chums of yours are going to change their minds about what they've put in their returns. And unfortunately, Danny has already corroborated their statement.
What do you mean?
Well, at a rough estimate, fixing Danny's earnings at around £3,250, the tax he would have to pay on that would amount to £900.
What?
And since 5 tax years are involved, have to multiply that by 5, it comes to £4,500. Plus £1,500 interest on the monies due, which makes it £6,000.
6?
Then, of course, there'd be penalties.
Penalties? What are they?
£3,000. Total sum, you see, of £9,000. Mrs. Jessel?
I have fainting fits. I'm waiting for one now. It's bloody due.
Perhaps we should continue tomorrow.
What? There's more?
I fear so. Oh, I do wish I could give you some advice. But I honestly don't see that Danny could possibly help.
Help to do what?
To keep Danny out of prison.
Prison?
Well, it's by no means a first offense, you see. Danny, in his young life as to date, made 5 returns. And...
I made 'em! He couldn't make a form like that out in his life, never!
Well, nevertheless, he signed them, and on the only evidence I have to submit to the court, all 5 returns must have been false. Could mean 2 years.
How about it then, eh? Yeah, all right, pack it up.
What a Paul knock off so early for?
He did very well, I can tell him. Used the loaf, too. Kept something for the mother.
Yeah, it'll be a great day for the cellar tomorrow. Everything to eat now. There won't be much left of the garden. She used the loaf all right. She'll have a corner.
Give it up, Billy.
Get washed.
You!
Aye?
Hey, Polly! Oh! Remember, you're sick!
Sick! I never felt better in my life! What?
Polly! Polly!
4,500. 4,500 to start with. Then there's penalties and interest. 9,000 you got my Danny in for. You, Bush, and you, Samson, and you, the lot of you.
Now, Polly!
Quiet! No! Not to mention the tin. Not to mention 2 years inside. My Danny criminalised by villains.
No, Polly! No, Polly, on the shirts, they'll soil!
You get out!
Here, Billy, quick!
Let me go, you monster!
Now, Mrs. Jessel. This is no way for a sensible woman like you to behave. Well, is it now?
Pay no attention to him, Polly. He ain't no market inspector no more. You played out your system.
Come on, man.
Who grassed on everybody if it wasn't you?
Grass, Billy? Now, why should I grass on any of you? As you say, I'm no market inspector now. I'm just a chum among pals these days.
Yeah. You never will be nowhere.
Well, to prove it, I'm quite willing to advise you on this problem you seem to have got yourselves into.
But you seem to know all about without nobody having told you. Look, I'm advising you, Tookie. Your skin's in mortal danger. Cut and run and don't come back. It's not you I'm worried about. It's someone doing a stretch because of you.
Now, come, love. Pull yourself together.
Look at him. The heartless.
Come.
What are you standing about for? Somebody will take you for a letterbox and stuff you.
I was coming to get you, Billy.
Me? How do you know where I live? I never asked you in.
We've decided to consult. We're all in it, or at least we're all responsible in some way for Danny being in it. So?
Yeah. I don't know with collective action. For once I can't think of anything less repulsive. But where are we consulted?
In what most of us have recently been calling our office. Where else?
Well, where is everyone? We gotta wait? What are you doing here, Tookie?
I'm being consulted. When you're ready.
Come on, Billy, look. Danny can do a stretch, can't he? We've got to try anything.
All right, Miss Took, away you go.
Yes, well, we all seem
Who are this vulture? Who wanted a neck trim and was bent enough to call on a public executioner?
Tookie won't say, will he? Now we're all sucked in, let's see if it'll do any good, eh?
And you hired yourself, Tookie. You grasped to the tax tyrants about all our lovable little habits, and then you spread the word about one of us was bent enough to come to you. So here we are.
If you believe that, Mr. Bush, then this meeting will not take long. Either I grasped or I did not grasp. But the result is exactly the same. Danny goes in, or you find a way of keeping him out.
First thing you're going to say is that we all club together and dream up 9,000.
Correct?
Yeah, which would do no good whatsoever. Danny would still go in as an habitual offender.
Also correct.
The second thing about the leak from your bonds is that we all tell the tax tyrants that we put in false returns and go to the tin ourselves. But with Danny, who'd be done for conspiring.
Not all of you did make false returns. Mr. English, for instance.
Third is that we bribed this eager eagle who's got his talons in our tribes. Well, that's the fault. But the trouble with public servants who go around clobbering the public is that they don't corrupt. They're lily white all through, every morbid one of them.
There are always exceptions.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm happy to say that this is the case now. Using my experience, I've used certain words to the gentleman who's been disturbing you, and he is quite ready to forget everything for £1,000 cash. Now, I have here his itemization of what each of you claimed on Danny. Now, if we total it and divide each item into the total, we can arrive at a fair contribution from each concerned. Yours being the greatest, Mr. Bush.
Sweet grass snakes. You put him up to this from the start. You hired a crooked one and bent him your way.
If you believe that, you will understand the urgency.
Read that list, too. Just read it.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention. My consultancy fee will also be 1,000.
Yes, it will not be. 2,000 goes to the Eagle to make sure he gets it, and you can collect yours from him.
Very well. Just tell me where you'll be an hour after the bank's open tomorrow, and I'll see he's there.
Darcy's north. Right. And send him alone. Harry and I will be waiting.
Don't touch that, I should kill you. I'm amazing myself, but I insist on contributing to what's in that bag. £250. Take a similar amount out and distribute it according to individual subscription.
No, you keep out of it.
I'm not out of it, I insist.
Just belt up.
Ferdy. You'll find a vulture on the doorstep. Just let him in, then vanish. Yes, Billy.
No.
You're ill.
Maybe.
Where's your mate?
Cannot come.
You expect us to give you this for you to not give him? Incredible.
No, I'm to tell you to bring it to him at Charing Cross Station. 12 sharp, under the clock. See you.
Tukey. This eager eagle knows where 2,000 nigger is here waiting for him. Yet he delays a whole hour before laying his talons on it.
Yes.
Come here, you.
Oh, look out, guys! Ah, my best blooms! You vandal! Hey!
Don't get up, Tukey. This is very good wine. I should hate to waste it. What's this, Billy? Trying violence? Most unusual.
I don't know. Are you all right, Billy?
Hey? Yes, I'm very all right. I'm very all right indeed. And for once in my life, I'm going to say thank you. Thank you, mate. You conked him proper. Ooh. Well, here it is, Tukey. We all know you, and we can all describe him. Price, not to mention either of you, sharpish to the Inland Revenue, 2,000. For Polly Jessel, on account of how much you both upset her.
What? You bash, mate, you bash. Where'll I get you?
That list you read out, Tukey, contained one notable omission. It didn't have Seymour down. Now, why didn't it have Seymour down? And why didn't your eagle want to come here to where Seymour was waiting? I'll tell you why. Because Seymour would have recognized him. Who was he, your cousin? What morbid member of your family was he?
He is no relation at all. But he has all the facts necessary to throw the lot of you.
He is Mr. C.V. Pontecraft, or Pentagriff, some such. I never could remember. Absolutely right, Billy, absolutely. He is the official who picked over my returns, legitimately, for 7 years, until the Inland Revenue Department hurled him out on his hideous neck for blackmailing careless citizens.
And of course, he did not come round here to try it on you because this used to be his district and he knew that you were certain to... Ah, you poor old tosser, Tukey. I mean, you've got into a right load of rubbish this time, haven't you?
Yeah, you spit on us. It all comes out about you.
Yes, gentlemen, there is that, and no way round it. Except two things of joyful note. Harry's up and busted Tukey's hooter, so he'll snort for weeks. And we've all learned something of tremendous value. Tremendous.
What's that?
Well, not in front of this bleeder. To speak literally, Here, watch it, Seymour. He'll soak your carpet to a salt. Right, tonight, Harry, in our office. Round 'em all up, eh? Oh. Here, give us a kiss. Here, give us that. Where are they all?
All waiting for you, you lovely little lump.
The old cunt. Hey, open up the arms! Here, get out of the way, I'm coming over there. You buzz all right.
Here, Polly, close the curtains. This isn't for the peasants. Now then. Right, let's have a bit. Hold up. Come on, let's have a bit of silence in this madhouse. Right. Now then, what I want to say is this. Straight up now, we have, though, haven't we?
What, love?
Learned a lesson.
Oh.
Well, that is the last admission I ever expected to hear from a man with a somewhat grubby past that you have, Billy. But it is quite true, we have, all of us. Not that we all put in false returns, but those of us who did. They know now that it does not pay. It just does not pay.
You bent? Are you curling up again? What are you going to chunter next? That it pays to be honest with a morbid mob that only has to ask, and we got only one right left to us, and that is to give.
That's right, Billy. You give it to him. You say what nobody else will, however much they think it.
No, Harry, you're looking at it standing in your head. You're giving in, Harry. You're pressing your pennies into the hands of grab. No, what we learnt is this. Our mistake was naming somebody. We named Danny. So if the inspector had been a real inspector, he'd have had us proper. So what we do in future is we name nobody. Instead, we have an annual tax conference here in our office, which is a deductible item. And then we see, among ourselves, how much we can clobber them for without arousing suspicion. And under expenses for casual labour, we simply put the one word on our return, various. And if any questions are asked, we all say it was some drifter who come in months ago and drifted off without anybody seeing it. Right, Polly, one of them for me, love.
They're all for you. You can drink your lovely lives to the bottom. I love you, lovely.